right? And they had opportunities. They just weren't able to execute when it came down to it.
So Tech faced a ranked team in the first game, Auburn. Now they face another ranked team in Clemson. And let's take a look at today's Impact Players, brought to you by Visit St. Pete Clearwater. They got to face one of the best going right now in college softball, and Valerie Cagle.
Hey, I'm like a kid in a candy shop up here. I have not got to see this young lady throw in person. So for me, this is amazing. That ERA does not even matter, folks. That was last weekend. She is one of the best in the game. Not only is she a dominant pitcher and forced to be reckoned with in the circle, but her ability to step into the batter's box and help herself out, huge. Led the ACC in 17 home runs last year. She's one of the best in the nation.
Here is the lineup that Cagle will face for Texas Tech. It features Abby Orrick, the third baseman, right at the top of the order. Carson Armillo in the cleanup spot in right field. Maddie Westmoreland's going to get the start as the DP, and Blythe in center field, batting ninth. A team that 1 run, 3 hits in their first game today in the loss to Auburn. Texas Tech comes in with a record of 3-2 for the loss to Auburn earlier today. Clemson comes in at 3-1, wins over Florida Gulf Coast, Kent State, and Long Island University with a loss to Texas Friday so far for Clemson. So we're set to go on a, let's just call it what it is right now, especially for February, a hot Thursday afternoon with a temperature in the mid-80s. And ready to go from Clearwater as Orrick steps in the box. First pitch is on the way for Cagle. It is a strike, and off we go. First pitch, 70 miles per hour. Hello, Valerie Cagle. Orrick in the first game, 1 for 3. One of the 3 hits for the Red Raiders. Sophomore from Edgewood, Texas. Now in her sophomore year, after a freshman year, she played mostly at third base when she started 11 times, 34 overall games in 2021. Well, already we've seen the arsenal from Valerie Cagle. We better get the official scouting report.
Well, we already know that she's going to be able to bring that velocity, right? Anywhere from 67 to 72 miles an hour. Rise ball, you see that change on that last pitch with the strikeout, but she's really been working on this offseason on that changeup to just be consistent. And what a pair to be able to have that pitch with how hard she throws.
The catcher for Texas Tech, Molly Grumbo. Grumbo tops it foul back. Grumbo in the first game was the leadoff batter for Tech against Auburn. She went 1 for 3. .70 miles per hour again. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Just such a pretty pitch by Cagle. You see that drop on the outside part of the plate that just dips down at the last minute.
Softly to third. Leo Logaleo throws out Grumbo, 2 outs. Logaleo at third base today. Maddie Moore playing short for Clemson. The bases are empty for first baseman Ellie Bailey. Valerie Cagle, last year, her sophomore year, 40 appearances, 32 starts, completed 26 of those. 11 shutouts, throw in 5 saves, won 28 games, had an ERA of 1.16, 267 strikeouts, 216 innings. So she was the ACC Player of the Year, ACC Freshman of the Year, second team All-American, first team All-Conference. She's one of the heavyweights right now in this game.
And you can just tell based on some of these Texas Tech swings, like velocity is overpowering right now. They're very late on it. This is her season recap, 28 wins last year. It's a great ERA.
She threw 12 pitches in that inning. There were 6 swing and misses, including that last one by Bailey. 2 strikeouts for Cagle, who, oh yeah, by the way, carries a big stick.
St. Pete Clearwater Elite Invitational, presented by Wilson, is brought to you by Visit St. Pete Clearwater, Florida, and Wilson Fast Pitch, leaders in softball innovation.
Great beaches in St. Pete Clearwater. Back here in Clearwater as we go to the bottom of the first. Morgan Hornback, senior in the circle today for Tech.
Yeah, and coming into a game like today against Clemson, the goal for Hornback is really just to be able to locate, hit great spots. And sometimes you can go into these types of games playing an opponent like Clemson and try to be better than you already are. You just need to stick to what makes you great. Focus on all that work that you've put into your craft, especially in this off season, and just throw.
North Carolina State transfer Sam Russ at the top of the order, playing left field. She owns a number of NC State single season records, including stolen base, 32 in one season, career steals. Other career leaders on base percentage. It's a grad transfer after 4 years in Raleigh. And off to a .462 start, has 6 hits and 13 at bats. Towards left center field. That ball would get down and go all the way to the fence. Extra base hit for Sam Russ. That's her. Oh, she hesitated. Now she's going to go for 3, and she's in with a slide. When she saw that throw wasn't going to third base, she said, I'm going to third base.
Now batting number 7, Mackenzie Clark.
I think kind of right off the bat, I was thinking triple, and it was that turnaround second base for her where she picked up Rittman, and that slight hesitation, still a ton of speed, able to stand up at third. Quality at bat by the leadoff, Russ.
Infield cheats in with Mackenzie Clark at the plate. Mackenzie from Mayaca City, Florida. That's not too far away from here. Back with the outside corner. See if they're going to score that a double or a triple for Russ. He's going to get a 2-base hit. If it's a triple, it would be her 3rd already this season. What a great freshman year last year. Mackenzie Clark. True freshman, first team all ACC. Started all 52 games. Checks her swing. Or did she? The old boundary. First base umpire Robbie Guest says she did. It was 50 games. She started 50 in center field. Mackenzie did last year. 2 as catcher. 3-1 delivery. And a 5-pitch walk. That's going to bring up Cagle. Let's take a look at the lineup for head coach John Rittman's Clemson Tigers. Cagle, besides being a great pitcher, great hitter as well. She's coming up now, followed by Gabarda, Legaleo. Hyatt's going to do the catching at night. Cagle chops it to second. A hot shot off the glove of Ariana Villa. Everybody's safe and a run scores. Russ comes in for Clemson, gets them on the board, 1-0 Tigers.
These are just the little things like that Texas Tech needs to shore up, right? Like there's pressure on you, and these are plays in the moment. You have to be able to step up. Yes, that was a hard ball hitter, had a lot of giddy up, a lot of spin, but got to make that play. We've kind of seen that a little bit, Mark. Last game, couple errors within the first 2 innings. And as we know in this sport, it is a game of speed. You have to be able to step up and make those plays, or teams are going to execute when you make mistakes.
Barda fouls that out of play. So the error charge to Villa. Cagle does get credit for an RBI because Russ was coming to the plate. She was going to score either way. Barda, who has had a couple of big power seasons back in 2020 after transferring from Furman, spent the first 2 years with Furman, then came to Clemson in 2020, led the ACC with 11 homers, and then last year was 4th in the ACC with 13. You got to keep in mind when I say in 2020 she led with 11 homers, that's because they only played 27 games because of the COVID shortened season. But to hit 11 homers in 27 games, that's pretty crazy. That makes you first team all conference. Full count. Got the head coach, John Rittman, coaching over at third base. His 3rd season, of course. Not only his 3rd season, but the program's 3rd season. Since he got him off the ground. Got her to chase. That ball was in the dirt. Did not need to throw to first because first base was occupied. That out had already been recorded. It does allow the other runners to advance. So it's 2nd and 3rd. They get the first out of the inning.
Now number 16, Aaliyah Lodoleo.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing to see what Coach Rittman has done at this program. I have vivid memories of playing at Washington and playing against Stanford when he was the head coach, and the Missy Pena days and Jess Mendoza days at Stanford, and how good they were. And it's so good for the sport to be able to come into a program like this and be a powerhouse right out of the gate and get players like Valerie Cagle to commit to a program that was yet to even play a game yet. And at times, as an elite athlete, that's intimidating. A lot of times players want to play on teams that they know already win. So to be able to get players that can step up and are that talented, to put that trust in that man, and wow, big things to come for this Clemson program. And I have a feeling they're going to be scoping out the World Series here, if not this year, in the upcoming years.
Out to short, and it gets past Barraza into left center field. Clark scores. Cagle coming for the plate. Throw comes home. It's late. 2-run score. It's 3-0 Clemson. That looks most likely like the 2nd error of the inning.
Just a little bit of deja vu. You know, we saw this in game 1. See the coach coming out, Coach Sammy Ward, to just come out and like, hey, at this point, runs have already scored and stuff's already happened. So as a coach, to come out and just say, hey guys, take a breath. Like, it's like you're trying to do too much in this moment and you're looking, you know, way too far ahead. You just got to focus on executing one pitch at a time, one pitch at a time. And at the end of the day, sometimes lighting a little bit of a fire isn't bad. Step up and make plays for your pitcher. She's rolling ground balls, and as defense, that's what you need to do.
Number 14 there, Morgan Hornback, the starting pitcher. She is the lone returner on the pitching staff from last season for Texas Tech. She did pitch on Sunday. She started at Houston. 3 1/3 innings, 3 earned runs, 3 hits. Took the loss through 62 pitches. The senior out of Oregon City, Oregon. the Galeo reaches on the air. Cami Pereira, the second baseman, steps in. Cami out of West Forsyth High School in Winston-Salem. Runner takes off. Galeo throw down to second in front of the bag. Villa took the throw a good 6 feet in front of the base. Was unable to get a tag on Galeo, who swipes the base. First steal of the year for Galeo. I mentioned Clemson. Their quick ascent in the ACC. And it's really been a lot of the conference. I mean, think how good ACC softball has gotten over the last couple of years.
Yeah, Florida State National Championship in 2018.
That ball hit her. So that's a hit by pitch, that ball. But this conference, the ACC used to be Florida State and then everybody else. And now it's not that way anymore.
No, and the fact that you can have a Clemson be able to step up and make such an impact in the ACC with how dominant they really have been is just special. Like, you want all conferences to have parity. You want that because it's better for the sport. You don't want one team to dominate in a conference. You want to be able to get better in conference play. And that's why we've seen the SEC have a lot of success, right? Like, they're just beating up on each other throughout SEC play. But that sets them up for the postseason to be able to go to war when they need to when it comes to a regional or supers in those pressure-filled Women's College World Series games.
Just off the outside corner. So last year, Clemson went 44-8. They were 29-5. Won the regular season. Lost to Duke in the conference tournament title game. Then went to Tuscaloosa for the NCAA regional. Lost to Alabama a couple of times. And I guess that's really the next step for Clemson is them hosting a regional instead of having to go places like Tuscaloosa.
Well, they're already sold out tickets at home, and we all know the advantage of when you get to be in your own stadium, have your own fans.
Strikeout is Stewart. That is the second out. Both outs have come on strikeouts for Hornback.
This is down in the zone. It's a beautiful pitch by Hornback, getting Stewart swing and miss through that.
Madison May getting the start at first base. Makes it strike one from Hornback. Two on with 2 outs and 3 runs in the Clemson bottom of the first. Valerie Cagle set the side down in order in the top of the first on 12 pitches with 2 strikeouts. Lead runners Galeo at second, Cami Pereira at first.
I like that spot by Hornback on the outside part of the plate. 29 pitches so far here in the first inning. It's hot.
Really? I haven't noticed the heat, have you?
I'm way back here. You've noticed that I think it's hot.
That's going to be dribbled foul pass first. There are 16 teams here. A decent number of them are teams that come from, let's say, the Big Ten teams that are here, Northwestern, Wisconsin, and Michigan. They would kill for this hot day this time of year up there to play in any of those locations. Down and in, it kicks off Grumbo, but up the third base side, it does allow the runners to advance. Galeo advances to third and Pereira to second.
I mean, this is definitely a long inning for Hornback, right? Like, we can't throw 30-plus pitches every single inning and think that we can go out there and throw 7 innings. So she's going to have to find a way moving forward if they get out of here to just kind of have a little bit of a quicker innings to give herself a little bit more rest.
That's hit towards the alley in right center field and will bring in 2 more. Lodaleo and Pereira scores. Standing at second is Madison May. Her second and third RBIs of the year, and it's been a 5-run first for the Tigers.
Yeah, what a pretty swing, wow. This goes with this pitch on the outside part of the plate, hits it exactly where it's pitched, right center gap, clutch hitting, couple ducks on the pond, able to score a couple runs, 5-0 Clemson.
And the 9th batter to come up in this first inning for Clemson is JoJo Hyatt, the Tigers catcher. On the ground out to second, stays down for Villa and on to first. To end the inning, 30-plus pitches though for Hornback. Clemson scores 5 in the first. Well, of course, Clemson facing a Big 12 team here today, Texas Tech. Let's take a look at some of the news around the Big 12. Jocelyn Allo would appear, as long as she stays healthy, she's going to set the home run record. A couple no-hitters from Jennings. Janae Jefferson, the U.S. national team for the Longhorns. You know, I mentioned there was a day in the ACC when it was Florida State and then everybody else. Even though Oklahoma just won another national championship, it's not Oklahoma and then everybody else anymore, especially the way Oklahoma State and Texas has played. There's the outlook for Tech. They are picked 6th in the Big 12 preseason poll, but they have 13 newcomers to absorb.
That's exactly what I was going to say, and you got to try to pick it up pretty quick, but it also takes some time for everyone to kind of gel together and get it going. But 13 new players is 13 new players.
Well, first pitch for Cagle, the cleanup batter. Armillo, I'm sure was thinking, oh, okay, here comes 70, and then it's string pulled and it's 58.
Well, and quite a different inning for Cagle last inning. She sat for 17 minutes, only threw 12 pitches. You look at Hornback's 30-plus pitches, 17 minutes or so out there in the circle and in this heat. And it's not like overbearing for the athletes. They know heat, but back-to-back-to-back pitches. It's almost like cardio pitching a little bit. And you don't necessarily practice that a ton in the winter, so it takes some adjusting to for sure when you're out there in that situation.
There is strike 3. She goes off speed again and strikes out Armillo, 3rd K for Cagle. The St. Pete Clearwater Elite Invitational showcases 16 softball teams, 40 games across the networks of ESPN. We're featuring this game on the ACC Network Saturday. Number 13 Michigan taking on number 6 Florida State. Tiffany Green, Madison Shipman will have the call on that one, and you can watch it, all the games streaming live on ESPN and the app. That one on ACC Network as well. It's PJ Peyton Jackson, a hot shot right up the middle and into center field. Cagle made a reach for that, as did the second baseman Pereira, but it gets through for the first hit for Tech.
And number 56, Alana Barraza.
Base runner for Alana Barraza. Plays shortstop in this game. Waves and misses strike 1. You're talking about the heat. I think there's something to it, especially teams that have yet to play in the heat. Those first games or two, when it's really warm, I think can seem hotter than they really are. I mean, that may be the case today for some of these teams.
Yeah, those first couple weekends out, especially you think about one of our next games in Wisconsin, like they're practicing indoors a lot and they're not getting the chance to be out there on the dirt every rep, every opportunity. And takes a little bit of time to kind of feel it, respect that heat when you're out there, and learn to adjust. Like I said, as a pitcher, going out in a situation with this heat and these circumstances, you want to try to have quick innings, and Cagle is doing just that. Obviously, knowing her team put 5 runs up on the board for her last inning, and it's almost a pitcher's job. When your team scores you runs, My job is to go out there and make this a quick inning for you so you can go get a little bit of Gatorade, take a seat. Just had 10 swing and misses, Cagle, on 22 pitches. Like, Texas Tech has been whiffing a lot. And Cagle is the type of pitcher where you have to have a plan. Cannot step into the batter's box without a game plan because she's that good. She's dominant. She can go up. She can go down. Clearly, she has that change piece. So you have to be able to step in that batter's box, communicate with your teammates, and talk to each other. What are you seeing? What did you see on that 0-2 count? The more communication, more information that can be passed, you can have better at-bats when you step in that second, third time through.
Tap foul right at the plate. Mariana Villa, second base. 0 for 2 with an RBI, knocked in the lone run. And Tech's 7-1 loss to Auburn here earlier on this field today. Way out in front of the changeup. 5 Ks for Cagle in 2 innings. We played an inning and a half, 5-0 Tigers. Take a little tour of the ACC for our preview for this 2022 season. Cheryl, Florida State, a couple of Women's College World Series appearances the last 3 years. Cagle, we know what she did last year. Blue Devils won the tournament title. And Keely Rochard took Virginia Tech to the Super Regional at UCLA and nearly got them to Oklahoma City. There's the outlook for Clemson. Preseason number 14 in the nation, picked second in the ACC.
Yeah, I think they're definitely, if they can have a good couple weeks in preseason and do some damage in conference tournament, I think they definitely have a chance to host that regional or that super.
Top of the order, Sam Russ leading off as all 9 batters came to the plate in a 5-run first for Clemson. Bunts it in the air and coming down the line. First baseman makes the catch. Billy Bailey. If you missed that bottom of the first for Clemson, really the big hit was the 2-run double by Madison May. There were a couple of costly miscues by the Tech defense, and they scored 5 times in the first to the Tigers. A couple extra base hits in that first. They scored 5 times in the first, but only one of those runs was an earned run. Last thing you can do if you're facing Clemson and Valerie Cagle specifically is don't give up 4 unearned runs in the first.
Yeah, free passes, some defensive miscues. We all know that none of these teams are going to be where they need to be come postseason, but these weekends are always good indicators of things that we need to work on, things we need to shore up.
Base hit there for Clark. We have another great women's basketball doubleheader tonight here on ACC Network and the ESPN app. Starts with Pitt Miami at 6 Eastern, and then we feature a huge matchup between number 19 Notre Dame and number 16 Georgia Tech. Both are 10-4 in the conference, trailing North Carolina State, Louisville, and are 1 game behind Tech. Should be a great one. Cagle sends that to left, and a twisting catch is made by the left fielder, Peyton Jackson. He got spun around, but stayed with it, caught it, fell on the track, and takes extra bases away from Cagle.
It's a pretty swing by Cagle. A little oppo field, but Jackson a little bit turned around in left field, but she's able to make that clutch grab, and that's what you need to do. Step up and make some good defensive plays, especially against hitters like Cagle.
Runner takes off. That's Clark. Throw to second. Got her. Well, much better inning for Morgan. Hornback had a 33-pitch first. Just needs 6 in the second. St. Pete Beach. Gulf Coast. It is a dream. You can make it a dream. It's awesome down here. We highly recommend a visit. And if you get to do it this time of year, you can catch some great softball here at the Eddie Seymour Complex. Michigan, Oklahoma State coming up tomorrow on ESPNU early at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Later on ESPNU tomorrow. Texas, Florida State, number 9 against number 6. You know, this is the, you know how in men's basketball for years, if you got to go to Maui and play in the Maui Invitational, that meant your program was big time. That's what this tournament is for college softball. This is the Maui, except it's got even more teams.
These Texas Tech hitters have to try to figure out Cagle. She'd thrown prior to that 26 pitches, 20 of them strikes. And 12 of those 20 were swing throughs, and I think honestly, like, you can't be intimidated by her velocity. You have to either pick the hard or pick the soft and really commit to your plan. And she's one of the best for a reason, right? You can go up there planning to, hey, I'm gonna just swing at the hard and try to take the change up, and then you find yourself swinging at the change piece because it completely fools you. And that's what elite pitchers do, right? Like, that change up can look so good that it fools you regardless of your plan. So as a hitter, these guys have to, like I said last inning, keep communicating, especially that second time through the lineup. We're 7, 8, 9 right now for Texas Tech, but second, third time through, really try to figure out whatever it is that we can do to just make it a little bit more challenging for her, because right now she is just absolutely mowing them down.
Fifth-year senior Maddie Westmoreland is leading off for Tech. Hits it off the end of the bat slowly to third. Logaleo up, fires, and gets her by a step. One gone.
Now batting number 23, Hayden White.
We talked about this Clemson team. A lot of returners, obviously, but one area they have to compensate for is the loss of their starting third and shortstop from last year. Casey Bigham was their third baseman last year, graduated. You got shortstop Nancy Gilstrap as well with that. So we've seen Logaleo and Moore each play third and short. White, center field. As for an appeal, no swing, says third base umpire Jason Smith. It's Logaleo playing third today, Moore at short. Left side of the infield, and had to replace a couple of starters from last year's ACC regular season champs. Pitch from Cagle to Blythe. It's going to roll foul. Blythe, her freshman year was 2019. Missed the first 14 games of the season with a back injury, but wound up making All Big 12 second team as a freshman. And the All Big 12 freshman team as well. Hughes Spring, Texas. Sees a 3-2 pitch from Cagle. Puts it in play softly to short. Maddie Moore charges sidearms and not in time. An infield hit for Blythe, and that's the second hit of the game for Tech.
And Valerie Cagle today, that down and in. Wow, that's just pure filth. You can hear the mitt in the replay, that pop. Wow. She's really just been able to blow it by some of these hitters and mixed in that change as well.
Back to the top of the order for Texas Tech. Abby Orrick is called out on strikes facing Cagle to begin the game. Anything that has caught the eye of the dugout? Why the visit?
No, just a quick 2-0. The first time, I mean, we've really seen her fall behind. I think potentially it's going to be maybe a little bit of a pitching change in the next little bit.
Well, the meeting concludes. Again, the count is 2-0 on Abby Orrick. Diving stop by the third baseman, Logaleo. Not in time, though, at second base. Blythe, using her speed, gets in ahead of the throw. That's an infield hit for Orrick.
Yeah, and this is all Logalea can do on this. I think even if she were to pop up and try to go to first, some good speed from Blythe in that 9 spot. So I think she really thought her best chance was second base.
Grumbo grounded out to Logaleo at third back in the first inning. Check swing foul. Texas Tech beaten by Auburn earlier today, 7-1. Clemson playing their first game of the St. Pete Clearwater Elite Invitation. 0-2.
It's really the first kind of pickle that we've seen Cagle find herself in, and for the 5th year, stud in the box is a big moment here for Grumbo to potentially step up.
Crowder changes speeds and strikes out Grumbo for the second out, and her 6th K of the day for Cagle.
She just, the way that pitch moves, it looks like it's going on the outside part of the plate, and it just absolutely cuts back in for a strike. And Cagle does such a good job of really hiding the ball from the get-go. And she's a big, strong woman in the circle. And the longer you're able to hide the ball as a hitter, it can be very challenging. She keeps it in her mitt all the way out just until release.
Clemson leading 5-0. They scored all 5 of their runs in the first, and 4 of them were unearned. There were a couple of Texas Tech errors. 2 on, 2 outs here for the Red Raiders. Foul tip. 1-2. Ellie Bailey, 2 homers last year. One of those home runs was a grand slam, did it against UTEP mid-March of last year. She's got a couple runners on base here. The strikeout ends the threat. A couple of singles, 2 left on. 7 Ks for Cagle. They'll come up in the bottom of the third, up 5-zip. Welcome back to the 2022 St. Pete Clearwater Elite Invitational presented by Wilson. Beautiful look at the Gulf of Mexico, and just having a casual bike ride along the beach. That looks delightful.
See, I could see you doing that with maybe some rollerblades, just along the strip, getting after it.
Or a skateboard. Skateboard work.
I don't know. I couldn't see that. But
Maybe followed by a trip to the emergency room. Yes. Clemson is up here, home half of the third. 4, 5, and 6 hitters. Melissa Gombarda struck out her first time up. It's out to right. Carson Armijo. A little bit of a wind out there to deal with, blowing towards the left field foul line.
Now batting number 16, Aaliyah
Smart.
Rogaleo.
Leah Logaleo reached on an error. That was one of a couple errors in that first inning. The Tech defense that allowed 400 runs. Which is a foul. Good point. Yeah, you got to give Morgan Hornback, starting pitcher for Texas Tech, some credit here. That 33 inning first. I mean, defense certainly didn't help her out with a couple of errors, but she had to really throw a lot of pitches. Threw only 6 in the second inning. And now she's got a leadoff batter here in the third. And she gets ahead of Logaleo 0-2.
And I just think this is good experience, right? Like, this is why you come to a tournament like this. You want to play against the best. You want to feel what that feels like, especially in the beginning of the season. And that's how you evolve as a player, right? We always want to continue to find ways throughout a season to get better. What was I feeling? What emotions was I feeling going against a Clemson in the circle? Was I really nervous? Was I speed pitching, cardio pitching? How can I slow the game down? You start to really understand yourself when you start to play teams that make you work. And if you want to ever really kind of go far in the postseason, you got to go through teams that are like Clemson, that are. So I think it's important for a pitcher like Hornback to respect her work, but also know that there's work to be done and that defense just needs to play a little cleaner.
Pulls the string and gets the strikeout. 2 outs in the inning, third K for Hornback.
Now batting number 12.
We have another great women's basketball doubleheader tonight. Also the bald men on campus. Jay Billis, LaFonso Ellis, Seth Greenberg tomorrow night, 9 Eastern. They preview the ACC slate of weekend games. Also have the latest news from around the conference. That's only on ACC Network and the ESPN app.
Carson, give me 2. Give 2.
Cami Pereira's been hit by a pitch and scored a run in this game. It's up empty and it's 0-2.
I just kind of feel like Hornback has continued to get better and better. In that first inning, I mean, you can definitely have a little bit of jitters. She's really settled in.
Getting a piece of that one. Pereira stays alive.
Pitch right here. Here, ball, make a play. Shoot it up.
Back towards the circle under the glove of Hornback, so it's going to be a quick throw to first and safe. Villa came in, made a good play and a quick throw in real time. I thought they got it, but let's take another look.
Now batting number 13.
She's got some good speed up the line for sure, and I think honestly the only way to really get her that pitcher, Hornback needed to field that clean and just get that boom boom throw.
She did beat it out by an eyelash. Pereira is on for Abby Stewart, the DP. I'm sure what Morgan Hornback is thinking is, I could be sitting in the dugout right now if I just made that play.
Hey, we do think that when we're out there sometimes. Dang it, if I would have made that play, I could have got a drink and was sitting on the end with a cold towel.
Outside corner strike call from our plate umpire, Kaylee Young.
Here, ball, make a play. Good circle. This pitch right here. This one right here.
Rumbo pops up and takes a look at the runner, Pereira, back to first. 4 strikeouts for Hornback. She gets Stewart on strikes for a second time. When we come back to Florida, we'll visit with the Tigers head coach John Rittman. Here to Clearwater. You mentioned in the open when you looked at the ERA and it was like 4-something for Cagle. You said, hey, just throw that out. Don't even look at that. That doesn't matter right now. And he said that it's a little rusty. Getting back in the circle.
I feel like there's such an emphasis on what opening weekend is, and such high expectations for these athletes, when at the end of the day, that first weekend is really about feeling it out and figuring it out. And where do you personally feel? How can I calm those nerves a little bit? And once you get that first weekend under your belt, you really start to kind of come into it. And he's not wrong when he said she seems like she's in mid-season form. She's crisp. She's hitting good spots. That changeup could be one of the best that I've seen.
Cagle has Armijo in the hole, 0-2. Belted down the third base side, foul by just a couple of feet. Armijo from the Dallas area, Plano, Texas. Played her freshman year last year at UCLA. Only made 1 appearance in a game last year. And that is 8 strikeouts for Cagle. And you talk Valerie Cagle, last year's ACC Player of the Year, candidate for National Player of the Year. There's some great arms out there, and some of the others.
Yeah, I mean, Gabby Plain, Cagle, 8 Ks already on the day. Sandercock pitching right next door with Florida State. Megan Faremo, one of the best, and really has to step into that role since Rachel Garcia graduated last year. So Ashley Rogers as well with Tennessee. I mean, you're getting to witness greatness here at this tournament, and it's special.
Yeah, all of those teams part of the 16-team field that play 40 games in 4 days. 6 games played today on this Thursday. 13 more tomorrow, 12 Saturday, and then 9 on Sunday to wrap it up.
And I don't know if I've told you this, but I'll tell you on air, it's a treat to do 11 games with you. I can't
Same
think
here,
of
partner.
anyone better to be doing it with. And
right back at you, since you had to sacrifice basically a couple of years of your time from your career and family to go win a bronze medal with Canada. Congratulations on that.
Thank you. I was waiting. You know, last game you didn't mention it, and I thought that really deserves some airtime. I worked hard for that. Appreciate you.
Oh. So you can always get a little zing in, even when you think she's being nice, which is why I love working with her.
No, it has been a treat. Our last time together was, Michigan 2019. That was when JMU shocked Michigan at the regional. And we didn't work together again.
Pandemic, unfortunately, had something to do with that, and the Olympics. So at least there was a good side of it. You get a bronze medal. Canada's first ever softball.
Yes.
Texas Tech have had 3 hits. And it's not like they're 3 loud hits, but they have been 3 hits off Cagle, but all 3 runners have been stranded on base. Only 1 has reached as far as second so far. Two pitches up and in, and there is the first walk allowed by Cagle.
Now back number 56, Alana Barraza.
So a 1-out base runner. Cagle pours in a strike to Barraza. Cagle did start the season opener for Clemson last Thursday at Florida Gulf Coast. 4 innings, 5 hits, no runs, no walks, 7 Ks. 59 pitches in that win. Then the runs she allowed is there's a throw from Hyatt down to May. The Texas game on Friday, a day later, she did give up 4 earned runs in 3 innings to the Longhorns. 57 pitches, took the loss.
And think about it too, Mark, like how much was riding in that game last weekend, right? Like Valerie Cagle, one of the best, playing against a Texas team that with Mike White, you know that they can do some damage every single time. So for her probably going into that game, there was a lot riding on it in her eyes. And I just think she's done such a good job today of just being as consistent as she can be. And something to think about too, like every single year you play this game in college, you have to respect the fact that there's so much video on you. People are going to find ways to make adjustments. So how can you recreate yourself every single year so you can go out there and feel like you can take down these teams?
Speared by Cagle, goes to second, out to first, safe. Almost turned an inning-ending double play. They do get the lead runner Jackson at second. Raza reaches on a fielder's choice.
And sometimes that can be the hardest thing as a pitcher, I think, to understand. We'll take a look at this real quick. Cagle tries to turn the quick 2, but oh, so close.
Clemson's been down here in Florida for a while. That tournament was hosted by Florida Gulf Coast. Kent State was in it, as was Long Island University and Boston College. But no doubt the two marquee teams, Clemson and Texas, when that matchup came about, it was going to be the big one in that tournament.
But I think when you learn, the sooner you're able to really understand as a pitcher that sometimes you're going to lose games. But how do we get better from that? Your whole season can't depend on one start against Texas. Okay, flush it next game. And respecting the fact that sometimes great teams are going to beat you. And you just want to be able to use that information so when you move further in the season, you're able to step up against a team like Texas and beat them when it truly does matter.
Mariana Villa has struck out in her only plate appearance. Ducks out of the way of a high, hard one up and in.
I feel like the second time through the lineup, we have not seen that changeup as much from Cagle that we did the first time through.
This ball shoots way high. All the way back to the screen, allowing Barraza to advance to second on a wild pitch.
I mean, I wish I had an answer to say, hey, why are we not throwing our changeup as much? But maybe she's just being tested a little bit, like having to work on some other things. I do know that her changeup was a pitch she worked on a lot this offseason to be consistent. And I think that rise ball, even looking at that last pitch where she just kind of airmailed it over the catcher's head, in order for her to be as successful as she can moving forward, she's going to have to be one of those pitchers that can really just hone in on all 4 quadrants. Can go up to down to change to up to back away. And this is kind of where we start to figure that out. And a lot of times pitching coaches will have plans for pitchers. Hey, first time through that lineup, let's work this. Second time, let's go to something else.
Second walk of the inning issued by Cagle. Texas Tech has 2 on, 2 outs, 5-0 Clemson leading. Tigers scored all 5 runs in the first, and 4 of those 5 were unearned due to 2 Tech errors. Couple runners on for the DP of the Red Raiders, Maddie Westmoreland. Towards short, going to take the short throw, more to Logaleo. A couple of walks, Texas Tech strands 2. When we return, a chance to visit with Tech head coach Sammy Ward. Clemson has the 5-0 lead as the Tigers come to bat in the bottom of the 4th. But let's take a moment, visit with Texas Tech head coach Sammy Ward. Hey, let me start with your starting pitcher, Morgan Hornback, who had to battle through the first inning, battle around a couple of miscues, 33 pitches, and since then she's looked fantastic.
Yeah, she's doing a really good job right now. It took her a little bit to settle in there, but she's competing pretty well for us right now.
Coach, have to ask, obviously Kegel's one of the best to do it, but what have you talked to your team about as far as making adjustments at bat to at bat?
Yeah, I think right now we're just really trying to do too much. I think our offense hasn't been where we've wanted it to be the last couple of games. I think we're just pressing a little too much, and so we're having a hard time staying on her. She's got some really good spin to her, but we're just not staying on it long enough the way we can. So that's kind of the adjustment we're working on right now.
We'll see how that goes. Appreciate the time. Thanks,
Coach.
Thank you.
Head coach Sammy Ward of the Red Raiders in her second season. We go to home half of the fifth. Clemson's 8-9 in one part of the order up, and Madison May, who had really the big hit of that 5-run first, the 2-run double. Have you noticed anything Hornback has done differently from the first?
She's definitely been able to find a way to jump ahead of these hitters pretty quickly, and I found that first kind of time through the lineup she was falling behind, and Clemson was taking big hacks, and as a pitcher sometimes that's a little bit intimidating, but at the end of the day, location for the most part always wins, and I think quality spots. We've seen her spot some great pitches up later on as the game has progressed.
Follow behind May here. Let's see what she brings her 3-0 offering. That is her second walk, her first since the first inning. Well, coming up Monday, the tournament, a history of ACC men's basketball, continues on ACC Network with episode 5 that highlights 1975 to 1980. That's at 9 Eastern. Followed by episode 6 that breaks down 81 through 83. New episodes of the 10-part documentary are available every Monday at 9 and 10 Eastern through March 7th. And you can always watch past episodes on the ESPN app. Carlin is going to be the new pitcher as they lift Hornback. We'll step aside quickly with the pitching change.
Now to pitch for Texas Tech, number 4, Erna Carlin.
Well, one of the 3 freshmen, true freshmen on the staff for Texas Tech takes over in the circle. That is Erna Carlin.
I like it. I think that's an important change, especially with that 4-pitch walk from Hornback. 1-0 on the season, and right now it's just coming in. How can I help? I just got to throw good pitches, hit quality spots, utilize my defense.
Now batting JoJo Hyatt.
JoJo Hyatt is up. Leadoff walk to May. Carly Shannon has come in to pinch run at first for May. There's the redshirt sophomore Shannon. Hyatt 0 for 1 with a ground out to second. Carlin has come in and fallen behind to Hyatt. Hornback walked May on 4 straight. There's the first strike of the inning. Carlin making her second appearance of the season. Game 1 back on Saturday in relief against UTSA. That throw kicks past the center fielder Blight there to keep Shannon from advancing any further.
A lot of speed with May.
Carlin's 3-1 pitch. Now it's a 3-1 pitch right there. Carlin threw 5 innings in relief on Saturday. He allowed 2 hits, 2 runs, 1 earned. just over 100 pitches in that relief appearance against Texas San Antonio. That's going to get out of play and make this a full count. Hyatt last year started 50 games at catcher.
Good circles, come get it.
It is now the third year as the starter. Started all 27 games in the COVID season of 2020 at catcher as well. And she walks on the 3-2 pitch, so that's back-to-back walks. And Clemson's got the first 2 runners on, nobody out, at the top of the order coming up. Houston. Run.
Now into run at first base for Clemson.
First base.
Ainsley Houston.
Ainsley Houston.
Now batting for the Tigers.
First.
Number 3, Sam Russ.
Shannon pinch running at second, and here's Sam Russ, who's tripled and scored. Also popped out. Bunting. Strokes this one to left field. Peyton Jackson to her left, hauls it in. Russ jumped right on the first pitch, hit it pretty well, but lines out to left for the first out.
Hey, what we got right here? We're going for this one.
Now batting number 7, Mackenzie Clark.
Brings up Mackenzie Clark. Clark has been on base both times up. A walk in the first and a run scored. Singled in the second. She's 1 for 1. Mackenzie Clark has a nickname. It's Pie. It's because she loves a particular type of pie.
Tell me, which one?
You want to guess before I tell you?
I gotta go with pecan. It's only because that's my fave. Tell me I'm right.
You are not correct.
Must be like key lime.
It's not. Well, key lime would fit down here for sure. It's a strawberry pie.
Oh, wow.
But all of the pies you mentioned are worthy of giving you a nickname. Clark last year as a true freshman, first team all ACC, was second on the team with a .355 batting average. 9 home runs as a freshman. And led him with 23 stolen bases. Little dribbler back towards the circle. Carlin goes on to first to get Clark. The other runners advance. Well, we have another great women's basketball doubleheader tonight here on ACC Network and the ESPN app. Pitt, Miami at 6 Eastern, and then a huge matchup between number 19 Notre Dame and number 16 Georgia Tech, both 10-4 in conference. Should be a great one tonight. Notre Dame, Georgia Tech, women's hoops here on ACC Network. Cagle at the plate with the bat, 0 for 2. Fly to deep left last time up. Peyton Jackson in left field made a twisting, spinning, and then tumbling catch on the warning track to haul it in.
This is kind of one of those situations where if you're Carlin, you know you have a base open. And this is their best player. And I say this all the time, like you never want to have their best player be the one that beats you, especially in a situation right now when they already have 5 runs. It's never, oh, I'm just going to open up the base and just automatically send you, but you're just a little bit more particular about where you're locating that ball.
Off the end of the bat to left, coming in once again, it's Peyton Jackson. A headlong diving catch there. That's twice Cagle's hit one out to Peyton Jackson. She's been up to the test. The Tigers come up empty. Time now for today's Game Track, brought to you by Wilson. Texas Tech 3 for 15. They've had a handful of hits, all singles so far against Cagle, who's struck out 4 in her 4 innings.
Yes, Cagle has been pretty lights out in the circle for sure. Has kept Texas Tech off balance throughout this whole game, and they have decided to make a pitching change. Brooke McCubbin is coming in 1-0 on the season so far. 7 innings pitched last weekend, and that true freshman, big, strong young lady.
Leading on the inning, number 23, Keaton Black.
We move to the top of the 5th. 5-0 Clemson. All the scoring came at the bottom of the 1st. 5 Tiger runs, 4 of them unearned. Nine 1-2 batters for the Red Raiders. Hayden Blythe has an infield hit, 1 for 1.
I will say this with Cagle, that second time through the order, made adjustments, only had 6 swing throughs. That first time through the order, they had 15. So found a way to put bat on ball a little bit more. But Cagle still was dominant.
Set off the end of the bat, third base side, and out of room. It's the catcher, Hyatt. Brooke McCubbin has come on in relief here in the 5th inning for Clemson. The 4th relief appearance of the year already for the true freshman, who picked up a win in relief on Saturday against Long Island University. Through 3 scoreless innings, allowed only 1 hit. Bolted down the right field side, but it hooks foul. McCubbin also threw 3 innings of relief against Texas on Friday. Did not allow a run, just a couple of hits. Also pitched at the season opener last Thursday at Florida Gulf Coast. A scoreless inning with a strikeout. Needed only 10 pitches in her collegiate debut. Shallow left, and coming in, the left fielder Sam Russ calls off Maddie Moore. 1 gone. We come back to the top of the Red Raider batting order. Third baseman Abby Orrick. Abby had one of the 3 hits allowed by Valerie Cagle. Abby's was an infield hit to third, a diving stop by Logaleo, who could not get it out anywhere. Takes that up high. Texas Tech beaten earlier today by Auburn 7-1. 3 or 4 feet foul outside of third. Tech now 3-2 coming into this game. Two pitch to Orrick. Good count on Abby. Off the end of the bat, fading and a diving attempt by May. It goes off her glove into right center, and hustling all the way to second goes Orrick. Well, I guess you applaud the effort for May, but it really looked like it would have been an easier play for the second baseman, Pereira.
Yeah, that was definitely heads-up base running by Orrick. As soon as she saw that ball land, knows her speed right out of the gate. But I'm with you, Mark. I thought for sure Pereira stood a better chance at being able to make this play, but May came off the base and laid out. And as a second baseman, when someone's laying out in front of you, it's kind of gotta let him go, I guess.
It is a double for Orrick, her second hit of the game. Molly Grumbo sends the first one foul past third. Molly with a ground out to third and a strikeout, 0 for 2. Had a base hit in the first game today against Auburn. Went 1 for 3. A little delayed steal, but they're going to get her at third base. Got her. So Orrick out on the bases, making the second out of the inning at third base.
I like this just clutch defense by Clemson, right? Just making the bang bang throw, throws on the money right in front of Logaleo at third. Just land that tag right in front of the base. And sometimes I think that's still a good call by Orrick to just test the defense, because you have to have a quality throw in that moment, especially early on in the season. But Clemson defensively making those plays look easy.
Up and away to Grumbo. 2-2 count. Popped up third base side. Leo handles that to retire the side. A double by Orrick, but she's erased on the bases. It stays 5-0 Tigers. Hey, let's check out the upcoming games here from Clearwater with our schedule update brought to you by Wilson. All these games tomorrow, beginning early at 10 a.m. Eastern Time on ESPNU. Michigan, Oklahoma State, a couple of ranked teams. Same story, 1 Eastern tomorrow between Texas and Florida State on the U. And then back here on ACC Network, USF, Notre Dame, Friday 3 Eastern. And then LSU and Oklahoma State on the U Friday at 4 Eastern Time. Setting up day 2 from Clearwater tomorrow. 13 games tomorrow, 6 today to open this outstanding invitational. Inside. Well, half of the 5th. Barta strikeout and his fly to right. Barta, a first-team All-ACC performer last year. 35 games in right, spent 13 games as the DP. Finished 4th in the ACC with 13 homers, also 4th in RBIs with 42. So whacks that one foul down the left field line.
And last year she was definitely known as that clutch hitter for Clemson. Stepped up a lot when the team needed her in big games, and look for that to yet again be her role moving into this season.
The first 2 years at Furman before coming to Clemson to help get the program off the ground in 2020. She was the 2019 Southern Conference Player of the Year for Furman. As quickly as this Clemson program has developed into I don't use the term lightly, a softball powerhouse. They're a really good team now, just in a couple of years. It'd be interesting to document John Rittman and his ball 4. All the decisions hey, we're starting a program. It's in the ACC. It's Clemson. Let's, and just all of that had to come together, including talent like Cagle. You mentioned the time that he had at Stanford, 18 years as the head coach there, 16 times in the NCAA tournament. Great players. He's been on the U.S. national team coaching staff for a long time, different spells in his career. And got a different challenge. Hey, how about taking a program from the ground up, but in a big conference like the ACC? You don't get that opportunity all the time.
And I think that just goes to show how amazing of a coach he is, right? To go into a program like that and help build it from the ground up and already make such an impact, not only in your conference, but in the nation, right? Like Clemson is a powerhouse school. And they're definitely going to be one of those teams that when you get to postseason, you do not want to see them pop up for selection show, because they have that confidence, they have that swagger about themselves. And I just think that it is really amazing for the sport. It just goes to show that it's not always these dominant SEC, Big 12 schools. Like, you can have a Clemson come in year 3 and show the world what they're made of if they want to.
Visit out to the circle. By the way, Ariel Oda has come in to bench run at first for Cambarda. Here's Oda. In the bottom of the 5th, 5-0 Clemson. All 5 Tiger runs came in the first. And again, 4 of them unearned. There were 2 costly Texas Tech errors in that initial inning. Logaleo fouls it back. Logaleo switched on an error and struck out and scored a run. And on the fist, makes a foul. Clemson last year makes the NCAA tournament for the first time. That was the only chance since 2020 was the COVID year. Go to Tuscaloosa. Troy was in that regional. Logaleo hit a big 3-run home run against Troy. One of those regional games. First base is occupied there, so she was a strikeout.
Get the next one.
Well, you know, like I know, there's no postseason like playing at the Rhodes House in Alabama. You're going to get a dose of the postseason real quick playing there, and that atmosphere and that adrenaline rush and what it's like to play in front of those fans in Tuscaloosa. It's not easy, and to be honest, opponents sometimes don't really like it because it's just a different kind of energy and pressure.
Yeah, it really is. And, you take different home site advantages around sports. There's a little flare out towards left center field. Diving attempt by Blythe, but it's going to drop. Nice effort by Blythe. It'll be a base hit for Carrera, who's on for a 3rd time with her 2nd hit. Would have stopped at 2nd.
This is just kind of a little nubber, just right off the bat, drops right in front of Blythe. That's the best effort I think that you're going to get with that.
2 on, 1 out. Abby Stewart. So if she were to hit 1 out, that would end the game. They're up 5-0, 2 on base here in the 5th. But to finish my thought on the Rhodes House, in college basketball, a lot of people say Allen Fieldhouse in Kansas or Cameron Indoor at Duke. The great environments where it's tough to go in and win. That's really what Rhodes is in college soccer. It's hard to argue that that's not the best home field advantage in college soccer.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites to sit and call a game there and just take in that energy.
I agree.
And then on top of that, having to face a Montana Fouts 70+ miles an hour with that home crowd just chanting for the K.
Ball is up. So since Cagle was the pitcher and was hitting, Cubbin in there now is the pitcher. He's batting in this spot, vacated by Abby Stewart. Strike call, 3-2.
After talking with the pitching coach, that was one thing that Coach Jamison mentioned, that McCubbin is not only a powerful pitcher, but she can help herself out in the batter's box as well, just not in that situation.
Strike out, 2 down.
It's a pretty pitch by Carlin, just kind of that down ball on the outside part of the plate, had McCubbin just right over top of it.
One under the hands of Madison May. Knocked in 2 with a double in the first. And walked leading off the 4th. Texas Tech trying to get out of another little jam here. 2 on, now 2 outs. Carlin came in relief. And a runner on, nobody out in the 4th. So she's in her 2nd inning of relief work for Texas Tech. Good up and away. 3-1.
Right now with this 3-1 count, you know, pitchers, it's that hitter's count. Pitchers tend to throw something a little meaty.
Walk, a single, 2 on. There have been a couple of strikeouts in the inning. And Carlin delivers another, and that's fouled off the back by the Tech dugout.
Ground ball right here. Good circles, let's go get it, Audi. Go get it.
We are on ACC Network, so I will say you and I will see another ACC team shortly. Notre Dame takes on Wisconsin, 6:30 Eastern time. That'll be on ESPN Plus. We'll find that. Just a bit low. You're off speed pitch and a walk loads the bases. The Tigers have loaded him up with 2 outs for the 9-hole hitter, catcher JoJo Hyatt. It's blocked by Molly Grumbo.
And JoJo Hyatt was that consistent staple for them behind the dish last year. 50 games starting as catcher. Opportunity for her right now in that 9 spot with bases loaded.
Out to right field, going back over the head of the right fielder, Armijo. This could end the game. Here comes a 3rd run for the plate. The throw home safe. A 3-run game-ending triple for JoJo Hyatt. And Clemson wins it 8-0. like that, game over.
I always love that for the bottom of the lineup, right? Like, you dig it when your 9-hitter can step up in a situation and go warning track with bases loaded. And honestly, knowing that if you can score 3 more runs, you can get your team out of here early and go post up and rest, and just clutch hitting in that moment and in that situation.
So Hyatt with her first RBIs of the year, and they're big ones, 3 that run rule Texas Tech 8-0. We will take a timeout, come back with more after this short break.
St. Pete Clearwater Elite Invitational, presented by Wilson, is brought to you by Visit St. Pete Clearwater, Florida, and Wilson Fast Pitch, leaders in softball innovation.
Back in gorgeous St. Petersburg, Clearwater, where a 5-run first for Clemson got it going, and they end it with a 3-run 5th. And Valerie Cagle picks up the victory as she was looking like her dominant self early in this game.
Yes, she was. She came out right away and just did some damage. Hit some good, crisp spots down in the zone and really kept Texas Tech off balance. Big ol' hacks that weren't able to keep up with the velo and were fooled a lot by that changeup.
So 4 scoreless innings for Cagle as you look at our game track. The 2 errors by Tech came in that 5-run first inning and really got them behind the 8 ball early.
Yeah, and honestly, it was so cool getting to see Clemson in person. You hear so much about them. You hear about Valerie Cagle, but really getting to witness someone throwing, you know, high 60s, touching 71, 72 miles an hour is pretty special for me as a fan and a broadcaster, and I'm excited to see Clemson